Hey there, Salina here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my son. As of January 7th, 2017, he was 1 year post-operation. So I wanted to do an update. I don't know if I will be doing any other updates post-op. I guess it would depend on like next year if we go see the pediatrician, what they say there, or if we go see the surgeons, we'll probably end up seeing different surgeons. What they say will depend on whether or not we do any more updates. But if you guys follow me, or you guys can go and watch some of his updates or his day in the life videos, and you guys can see how he's doing. Developmentally, he is honestly doing great. He is on track for everything. He is on track with height and weight. You honestly would never even know that he had surgery a year ago. Like, kids bounce back so fast, and I know that it's scary for anyone going into their kid having surgery, especially such a major surgery. It doesn't matter whether the kid had the full CVR or distractors or just the endoscopic surgery. They all bounce back so fast from the surgery, and it's amazing how kids are able to adapt so well to things like this. In January, I can't remember the exact date, I want to say the 9th, we officially had him stop wearing his helmet. I probably could have had him stop wearing it a lot sooner, but the orthosis wanted me to make sure that, like, he hadn't heard from the surgeon to say that he only had to wear it for a month. So after that month was up, he wanted me to contact the surgeon and make sure, and I kind of didn't do that. I kind of waited a lot longer. So the month was up in December, and I waited until January to contact them. So he wore his helmet for a little longer than what he had to. I guess that I'm satisfied with the results. It's not like really a huge deal in my opinion. It's really just an aesthetic thing because, as I've said, it's not affecting him developmentally at all. I meant to grab the hats, but his head is still pretty oval in my opinion. I've seen photos of kids whose heads are pretty round after they get their helmet off. My son's head is still oval, and I wonder if that's just his genetics when it comes in to how his head is shaped. Even when he had his first helmet, as he started to outgrow it, his head still never really grew wide. It did a little bit, but not really, and it became where his helmets are two pieces. I'm gonna go grab his helmet so you guys can see. Yeah. So I could only find one of his hats, which is completely fine, but this is his first helmet. It used to have his name on the front, but that came off, which is fine. But his helmet comes off in two pieces like this, and his head just never like would grow wide. He eventually figured out how to take off his helmet. So the thing was is that I couldn't put it on as tight as what it's supposed to be. So like this, once it started to get smaller, I would have to open it up more like this so that it wasn't all the way closed. Because if I didn't, he would mess with it and he would take it off. It was bothering him. It was too tight. When his head did start outgrowing it, his head did start to grow wider a little bit, but not by much. I think he was supposed to get to 80%, and the whole time he was at like 71, 72, maybe 73, but his head never really got wide like it was supposed to. Here's his second helmet, which is a lot bigger. But he was in this helmet from January until I want to say September, and then this one he was, well, maybe it was October. I think it was October, and then he was in this one from about October to January. And when we took this helmet off of him, he could still fit it. I feel like we could probably still stick his head in this, but I don't think this one really did much because of how much space he still had left in it. but the surgeon said that after 15 months there's really no reason for him to wear the helmet because it's not really going to do much to help his head shape. Yeah, his head is still pretty oval. We bought a hat for him from Walmart. This is not the hat, this one we got from Target, which fits a lot better. The size of the hat, I want to say, was like 2T to 5. That hat does not fit him. If we turn the hat sideways and put it on him sideways, it might fit better, but if we have it on him the right way, his head just isn't shaped right to fit into that hat. I think it's also kind of small too. This hat we got from Target. This hat is, it just says infant, but I believe that this is the same size. It's 2T to 5. And this hat fits his head so much better. I don't know if it's just bigger or if it's the shape of the hat. It's got a lot of different like sewing into it, whereas the other hat was a knit hat and it only had like 2 pieces sewn together. So I don't know, his head just doesn't really fit, never really fit right into that hat. I don't know how that's going to affect him when he gets older and when it comes to wearing hats, but I guess it's not that huge of a deal. He'll make it work. Okay, so now I'm going to insert some pictures. The easiest way for me to show you guys his head was, because he has so much hair, is when he's in the tub and I've got shampoo all over his hair. So as you guys can see, these pictures are playing and you can see that his head isn't necessarily round, it's still kind of more oval, which is fine. Again, it's just an aesthetic thing. He'll live with it. No one will notice with his hair if he cuts off his hair. I don't think it'll be a big of a deal. I think he'll be perfectly fine with it. I remember there's this one lady that comes to our house, and I've talked about her a few times, and I know she said one thing and it kind of like, I don't know, I just don't really like what she said, and she said it since the beginning, and it was that he gets his head shaped for me like my head isn't that wide and all of this stuff. And I know she was saying it to make me feel better, but it didn't really make me feel better because I know that the reason his head is shaped like that isn't because of genetics. It's from craniosynostosis. Like, I can't even show you guys my head shape because all this hair, but I know that my face is long. I know that my face is really long, but I don't think my head is narrow, if that makes sense. My head is definitely not narrow. My head is round like it's supposed to be. If I were to shave off my head would be round. It wouldn't be oval like his is. So I don't really think that that comes from me. And I know she was just like, I don't know, to me it just felt like an insult because I know that that's not the cause of his craniosynostosis. We did a blood test where they were going to test our genetics for research purposes, and if they found anything they would let us know, and they never like got back to us or anything, so I'm assuming that they didn't find anything of any importance. So it's not something that's in the genes. His head is shaped the way it is because of craniosynostosis. And earlier when I was saying that it was just in his genetics that his head was shaped the way it is, like, I don't mean like he got it from me or his dad. I meant like maybe his bones started to heal a bit faster, so his head didn't change shape as well, or his head doesn't take as well to the helmet like other kids do, if that makes sense. And those are just my thoughts. I don't know if it was something that we did wrong to why his head didn't round out like it should have, or if that's just the way his head was. I can say that there were some days where I wouldn't take his helmet off because I knew if I took it off, it would be off for a lot longer than what it was supposed to be, because we would wash his hair and I would want to make sure his hair was dry before we put the helmet back on. And so the days that I did take his helmet off, it would stay off for longer than an hour, which I never really felt like was a huge deal if it was an hour, if it was 2 hours. It really just depended on what was going on. Yeah, like some days I would take his helmet off like every other day or something. It wouldn't be every day, and it wouldn't be something that really bothered him. The helmet didn't, like, I know people like the helmet gets a smell after a while, but it didn't really smell. It really would just depend on how much he would sweat on whether or not he would smell. And I guess I can definitely say one thing I'm glad about without the helmet is like one of the things that was hard was knowing how to dress him, especially in the winter, because I didn't want him to get too hot because there were times where he would sweat a lot and I didn't want him to be too cold. It was like I can't dress him regular because of the helmet, but I don't want to dress him too light either. And now that he no longer has the helmet, it's not that hard to decide on how to dress him to make sure that he doesn't get too hot or too cold in the winter and in the summer. So that's one thing I'm happy about. No more of this, no more cleaning these. I did want to take a picture of him with his helmet like I've seen a lot of other people did, but I never got the opportunity to do it. Maybe one day I will. We are definitely keeping these to look back at and see like how small his head was. Like I can't believe his head was ever this small, you guys. Like I don't even know if you can really tell the size difference, but one is definitely a lot bigger than the other. Yeah, that is it. That is his 1 month postpartum. That is his 1 month post-op update. I'm sorry he couldn't be in this video. I have a new camera stand and he absolutely loves playing with it. So it's just a lot easier to do videos without him around. He will be in videos, but maybe not as much because it's just easier this way for me anyways, because he likes to take the camera stand and put it back into the bag that it's supposed to go in. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. That is going to be it for this video. New video every Wednesday and sometimes Sunday. If you want to watch another one of my videos, you can check out one right here and you can subscribe right here. And until next time, deuces.